Hello class, welcome to week 11 of Windows Server Administration. So this week we're going to be learning about um, configuring and managing remote access services. So in this case, in this specific lab activity 11, or lab activity 13, we're going to learn how to configure remote services using a VPN, Microsoft's VPN services. So the first thing they want us to do is they want us to, I'm actually going to minimize this. And okay, so right now I'm on PLAB DMO1. They want us to start with installing a secondary network adapter on PLAB DMO1, but not the device itself, but a virtual machine that sits on this device. So the first thing you want to do is go to Server Manager right here. You want to click on Tools and then Hyper-V Manager. And then once you click on that, this window should come up. They want you to right-click this machine. Your machine's going to be off. Mine's running, but it's okay that yours is off. Don't connect yet. Just go to Settings and then go to Add Hardware. While it's off, it's going to give you the option to click on Network Adapter. When you click on Network Adapter, they want you to select the Microsoft Hyper-V Network Adapter Virtual Switch, which is like a drop-down list under the virtual switch text. So once you click on that, click OK, and then after that you can turn on the machine. So to turn it on, you just right-click and click Connect. And then once you click Connect, you should be where I am at the moment. So your virtual machine is going to turn on. You're going to have to press Start, and then it's going to load up, and then you should be right here at the wallpaper screen. When you get here, just press Action, Control-Alt-Delete, and then it'll give you the administrator sign in, and then right here we're just going to do the password of password. Is it still lagging? Okay, so we're good. So it's signing us in. Once we get in, we're going to want to right click. Actually, they want us to right click the start or the Windows button down here, open up PowerShell and admin PowerShell. And then once we get to this point, they want us to enter in this command. So let's see if I can send this to clipboard. Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to enter in this command. So this is invalid parameter. Okay. Parameter is 2. So let's check on the network adapters for this machine. Not this. So I'm actually going to turn it off right now. I'm going to shut it down. Because perhaps I did not turn on the new network adapter that I just created. So I'm going to minimize this. Okay, so my PLAB DCO2 is off. I'm going to go to Settings. So the Add Hardware, so the second network adapter is right here. Let's go back up. Okay, so select Microsoft Hyper-V Network Adapter Virtual Switch. Doesn't seem like they want us to do anything else with that. Okay. Seems fine. So we'll connect again. We'll let this start. We're gonna have to sign in. Please note the PowerShell commands are not case sensitive to get a static IP address. actually, I think the mistake I may have made was, okay, yeah, I actually opened up the PowerShell on PLAB DMO1 instead of PLAB DCO2 because I right-clicked right here. That's why it gave me the error. Okay, so let's make this full screen. Actually, not yet. Let's send the Control-Alt-Delete first, and then we'll do full screen. Alright, so Control-Delete. I'll exit out of this. Okay. So let's do password. And now we can do full screen. Now down here, this is the actual PowerShell window we want to open up on the virtual machine that's inside the virtual machine. And here's where we're going to want to enter in this command. So now if I go to menu, clipboard, do it again. Okay, I guess we're going to have to type this one out. So new.net IP address enterprise. To 168.0.20. 24. Okay, should take it. Yep, perfect. Okay, so yeah, I opened up the PowerShell on the wrong device. Not the virtual machine. I put it on the actual PLAB DMO1, which is not what they want. So the static IP address is successfully set up for Ethernet 2. So step 8, on the next prompt to configure Ethernet 2 to use 192.168.0.1 as its preferred DNS, we have to type the following command in PowerShell. Okay, so let's do that. DNS client server. To 168.0.1. Press enter. Parameter could not be found that matches the parameter server. I spelled. Alright. Let's do. Okay, so it's not gonna. Is there a way to copy this? I do not feel like writing this again. So no, okay. My keyboard's a little bit weird, so it doesn't allow me to just up arrow my previous command. I have to write everything again. Interface radius Ethernet 2. So I just misspelled address, and that's why it gave me the error. Address. Addresses 192.168.0.1. So it should take that. It did. Okay, so it's not going to give us a prompt that it took it. So after setting the preferred DNS servers for Ethernet and Ethernet 2, to join PLAB DCO2 to practicelabs.com domain, type the following command. Do add -computer -domain credential practice labs administrator dash domain name slabs.com. Okay, so now it's going to actually ask me to authenticate with that domain. So the password is password. Press OK. Alright, so now they just want us to restart the computer so that the changes could be implemented. So I'm going to do restart computer. Alright, so now the computer is going to restart. We're going to have to do I'm going to minimize this again so I could send the Control-Alt-Delete to the virtual machine as soon as the wallpaper shows up. Just wait for that. So once again, we are working on the Hyper-V virtual machine that sits inside of PLAB DMO1, and this machine is called PLAB DC02. So I'm just waiting for this. Okay, so now I can send Control-Alt-Delete, type in do password. Alright, now it's signing me in. Now I can maximize this again. Wait. Okay. They didn't want us to sign in as administrator, they wanted us to use another user. So I'm just going to log out. And the other user is the administrator, but not the local administrator, but the domain administrator for Practice Labs. So I'll just have to give it a second, minimize this. I don't have to shut down the whole computer. I just need to minimize it so I can send Control-Alt-Delete, and then I can expand it so that I could see the other user. So now here, it's still an administrator, but like I said, it's a domain administrator. It's Practice Labs, administrator. And down here, I believe the password is still password. Press enter. So the fact that it's allowing me to sign in as this domain administrator means that what we did worked. So now step 17, it's going to say click agree. If we get this BG info license agreement dialog box, but they want us to go back to PowerShell. So I'm just going, I expanded this, yep. So I'm going to right click this, I'm going to go to PowerShell for administrator. And then here, they want us to enter in this command. So this command is going to install routing and remote access and other dependent services. So what did they want us to do with this? They want us to click agree. And then as for the second dialog box, if it appears, but in this case it didn't appear. So up here, let's get the PowerShell window open. So it's still loading all this stuff. So here I'll just do add -Windows feature, direct access -VPN, routing, include management tools. Alright, so it's taking a second, it's collecting data. Okay, so the fact that it's giving me this prompt means that what I typed in worked. So I'll just give it a second. So yeah, please wait while the routing and remote access service is turned on. So I'm going to get successful confirmation after this finishes. And that's it for task 2. Now, after it finishes, they want us to minimize this window and move on to task 3. But I'll give this a second. It does take a couple minutes, like 2 minutes. So task 3, configure RR8S on Windows Server. Okay, so for task 3, it does look like I am moving on to... I'm staying on this machine, actually. Okay. So, 44%. Alright, it did have to pause the video and come back because it was taking a bit longer than I imagined, but it did finish. So I did leave it at 40%, but now it's done. So just give it a couple minutes and yours should finish as well. So that's task 2. So now task 3, configure RRAS on Windows Server. So the first task, they do want us to minimize this once it does finish. So they want us to stay on PLAB DMO1, this machine, but where the PLAB DC02 virtual machine is running. So technically we're still on PLAB DC02. They want us to go to the tools and then routing and remote access. So right here. In this window, they want us to right-click on PLAB DC02, which is the local node, and select Configure and Enable Routing and Remote Access. So I clicked that. We're going to get a setup wizard. So I'll click Next. For the second page, for the configuration page, they want us to verify that Remote Access radio button is selected. So click Next. So for this, they do want us to, you must specify the type of connection to support. Select the VPN checkbox. We'll click Next. So for step 6, on the VPN connection window, you will select the interface you will configure to receive incoming VPN connection requests. So they want us to select Ethernet 2 with the IP address of 192.168.0.20. This is the secondary network interface on PLAB DC02. They want us to clear enable security, so uncheck this box and then click Next. Oh wait, did I make sure I click that? Then click Next. How do you want the IP addresses to be assigned to remote clients? They want us to select from a specified range of addresses radio button and click Next. For step 8, the address range assignment. So here we're going to have to actually give specific IP addresses. So they tell us the first one, the starting IP is 192.168.0.121, and then the end IP is 192.168.0.140. And then for number of addresses, it kind of does it for you. So click OK. And then back on the address pages, we can click Next. So for the managing multiple remote access services page, you must specify whether the remote connection requests are to be authenticated locally or remotely. Verify that no use routing and remote access to authenticate connection services. So we'll do next, and we'll do finish. And then for this, we'll say OK. And then for this, we'll also say, I believe they want us to say OK as well. Okay. So now we have to wait for the RRAS service to begin to initialize. Once we do get it working, it should say a window indicates that RRAS is now configured on the PLAB DC02 server. Yep. Okay. So now all of this showed up. It wasn't here before. So we can minimize this for now. So task 4, verify VPN ports on firewall. So ensure you are connected to PLAB's DMO1 on PLAB DC02. You'll be directed back to the Server Manager dashboard window, which is where we are. They want us to go to the Tools menu, Windows Defender Firewall. So let's see where that is, right here. And then step 2, hover to the navigation pane on the left, so right here. Click inbound rules. Scroll down the list and locate routing and remote access rules group. Okay, so I can just kind of go to R, then go all the way down, and let's see. On the inbound rules node, verify the following VPN rules are enabled. So these are all turned off. Okay. Perhaps I'll allow it to refresh. Let's go to outbound, go back to inbound, and go to R, remote access. Are they referring to these? It's kind of hard to see the screenshot. Remote access. Oh no, this is remote desktop. Remote services manager. It's not this. Routing and remote access. Remote access management. Oh, they give you the names right here. Okay. So routing and remote access from GRE to N. So these 4. Well, these 3. Skip this one and go to the 4th. So all of these are off. So set to enabled, yes. So let's enable them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So these 4 are on now. Okay, so task 5. I'll leave that open for now. For some reason, they say that it should have been on. Okay. Well, regardless, we enabled all of them. So for task 5, configure dial-in VPN ports. So on PLAB DC02, which is this virtual machine, click the routing and remote access services. So let's go to tools, routing, remote access. Okay. On the routing and remote access window, expand PLAB DC02. Right-click ports and select properties. Okay, so select WAN mini port and click configure. WAN mini port PPTP. So this one. Do configure. On the configured device, WAN mini port dialog box, clear the demand dial routing connections. And then in the phone number for this device, they want us to type the following IP address of 192.168.0.20. Click OK, so they don't want us to change the maximum ports. So click OK. What do they want us to do with this window? Click OK here as well. So step 4, back in the routing and remote access window, right-click on PLAB DC02 and select properties, so the actual node. Go to properties. On the PLAB DC02 properties log box, access the IPv4 tab. Under the IPv4 tab, go to the adapter drop-down list. So adapter drop-down list right here. And they want us to change the setting to Ethernet 2, okay? Recall that Ethernet 2 is the secondary network interface configured to support VPN connections for clients to contact DHCP and DNS. Click OK. So for step 6, PLAB DCO2 is now configured to listen for all incoming VPN connections. Minimize the routing and remote access window. Alright, so task 6, grant dial-in permissions. So on PLAB DCO1, so we're no longer on this virtual machine, so I'm gonna restore it down, and we'll just minimize it for now. We won't get rid of it completely. So back on PLAB PLAB DCO1. Yeah, this one. Okay. Click on Tools, go to Active Directory, Users and Computers. So once this opens up, they want us to expand the practicelabs.com node, go to the users, and go to the details pane. Right click the administrator and select properties. Actually, I just kind of double clicked it. Properties. Okay. So the general tab is displayed by default. Click in the dial-in tab. It's right here. So from the dial-in tab, select the Allow Access Radio button, and then click OK. So back on the Active Directory Users and Computers, on the details pane, right-click Elizabeth. Okay, so let's find Elizabeth. Users computers. Oh, APAC. Okay, Elizabeth right here. Yep. Select properties. Click on the dial-in tab. We're also going to do the same thing of allow access and do OK. And then they just want us to do a screenshot of that. So I'm going to open this back up, go to properties, go to dial-in, take a screenshot of that, and then that should be it for that task. So exercise 2, manage a VPN client. So I'm going to close this because I don't think I need this anymore. So we're going to go on PLAB Win 10. So I have to power on this machine. And once it turns on, it should just log in by itself. And then from there, they want us to open up the network and internet settings. Just wait for this to turn on. Alright, so it turned on. It should already sign me in. You shouldn't have to enter in any credentials here. Yep, okay, perfect. So I'm going to right click right here, go to Open Network and Internet Settings. So from here they want us to select Network and Sharing Center. So Network and Sharing Center. Right here. And then under Change Your Network Settings sections, click Set up a new connection or network. Okay. So from here they want us to connect to our workplace. Click Next. And how do we want to connect? We want to use my internet connection. It's our VPN. We'll click on this. And then here we have to give the IP address. So 192.168.0.20. And then the destination is Practice Labs VPN. Remember my credentials. And we'll do create. Okay. So step 7, please wait while the Practice Labs VPN connection is created. Keep network and sharing center window open for the next task. So task 2, after setting up a connection, you can view the details of the connection from a VPN client. So step 1, ensure you are connected to PLAB Win 10 and the network and sharing center window is open. Click change adapter settings. Alright, so change adapter settings. On the network connections window, right-click Practice Labs VPN, and they want us to do properties. So we're going to get a dialog box, click Security. Then under the Security tab, access the Data Encryption drop-down list and select Require Encryption. Select Allow these protocols. And then here, keep the default selection and click Networking tab. So under the Networking tab, they want us to select the IPv4 and select Properties. And then here we have to give it an IP address. Click Advanced. Okay. So on the Advanced TCP IP Settings dialog box, clear Use Default Gateway on the Remote Network box. So we uncheck this. Click OK. And then click OK as well here. And then click OK here. And then keep this window open. So task 3, test VPN connectivity. So on PLAB Win 10, right-click the VPN connection that we created and click Connect. So on the Network and Internet Settings pop-up, click Practice Labs VPN, and then click Connect. So now it's going to ask us to sign in, so we can do Practice Labs /Waybridge, which was that user. And then in the password text box, it's just going to be password. We can do OK. So please wait while the PLAB Win 10 dials into the VPN server. Okay, so now we're connected. Indicates a successful VPN connection. Yep. So view the details of a VPN client connection. So they want us to right-click this and then go to Status. Okay, so on the Practice Labs VPN status dialog box, the General tab displays the number of bytes exchanged between the devices. Okay, yep, right here. The Details tab displays the information about this VPN. Notice that the Details tab reflects various settings you established earlier in the VPN connection. Keep the network connections window open. So for task 5, disconnect VPN client connection. Okay, so disconnect. So notice that the connected status of the Practice Lab VPN connection clears up. This verifies that the VPN server and the VPN client are no longer connected. Just take a screenshot of this. Move on to the final exercise, so exercise 3. So for exercise 3, we're just going to remove Windows 10 from the domain, the Windows 10 computer. So the computer we're currently sitting on, they want us to open up PowerShell. So right-click the Windows Home button right here. Go to PowerShell Admin, and then here they want us to type remove computer, and then the Y for yes. And then once it takes that, we have to restart the computer. We'll give it a second. Okay, so restart -computer. All right. So task 2 is going to be create a VPN profile. So after, it's going to take about a minute for it to restart. So once it restarts, we are going to enter the following credentials for other. Okay, so we're going to sign in as another user because we're no longer. It's not going to sign in as like by itself because we removed that device from the domain. So no long those credentials don't work anymore. So we have to sign in as a local user. So we'll just give it a second. Alright, I think it's been a minute, so I'm just going to do the exit out of that. Let's do reboot. Yeah, don't press reset. Do reboot or refresh. Either one should work. Just give it a second as it turns on. Okay, now that it's on, it attempted to sign in with its domain credentials, but it failed because it's no longer part of the domain. So now we have to sign in as another user. So to do that, we're going to do ./admin, and then for the password, we're going to do password. Press enter. And now it let us back in. So we're going to right click PowerShell again. And now we have to enter in this huge command. Yeah, we'll just type it up because I don't believe that the clipboard works here. I can try it, but I don't think it will let me. Yeah, okay. So I'll manually type this in. Connection name, lab VPN, / server address, 92, 168, 0.20. Alright, hopefully there was no typos, and it takes the command. Nope. Okay, yeah, I kind of figured there was a typo here that they messed up. Alright, let's type it again. Okay, it's still giving me an error. Alright. Let's try to... Actually, no, it should work. Hold on. Okay, yeah. So I got confused myself. I was thinking I was still in the Hyper-V virtual machine, but I'm not. I'm in the Windows PC. So the clipboard does work, but the command that they give you is actually wrong. They misspelled this, so you do have to go and change remember and actually spell it correctly. And once you do that, it does take the command. So it took that, so that's good. So now we could go to start, we could go to settings, and then inside of settings, they want us to go to internet, network and internet, and then here select VPN, And in the VPN, select PLAB VPN, select Advanced Options, click on Edit, Connection, and the connection, okay. So in the Edit VPN connection window, click on Enter the following and click Save. So this is correct. Oh, the username, okay. So let's do practice labs / administrator, and then for password, let's do password and do save. Perfect. Okay, they want us to close this. Task 3, add an auto trigger app to a VPN profile. Alright, I'm not typing this. We're gonna clipboard this. Press enter. Was there another typo that they put? From the taskbar, open the Windows connection, trigger app, name, VPN, plabs.vpn, application ID. Maybe there's something wrong with this path that they gave me. So let's go to File Explorer. Let's go to, where do they want us? I need to move this slightly over here. Okay. Bring this slightly over here. Actually, let's make this smaller. Okay. Bring this up here. Okay, perfect. So C drive, and then Windows, System 32, and then MSTSC. It's not here. Okay. An application trigger for the VPN connection has been created. Type the following, get VPN connection. VPN connection. Launch application to trigger VPN connection. Oh, I see what this is. Okay. So let's do, instead of the previous command, the MSTSC, let's find it. System 32 dot backslash. Let's find the file location for this because it's clearly not here. Alright, so let's do Control A, Control C. Alright, so let's do add dash VPN connection trigger application dash name plabs VPN dash application ID. And inside of this, now I'm going to do my control V. Yep, perfect. And then close that. Actually, this is only the path that exists, and I still have to do the name of the application, so let's go to properties. Alright. Let's do copy. And then we could do /. Perfect. Close that. And now we could do force. Press enter. Cannot be applied to the local user. System cannot find the phone book entry. Alright, then let's do add VPN connection trigger application name plabs VPN application ID. And then here let's do this. And then let's do force. No? Okay. It's kind of weird because the path that they gave us for this application of remote desktop is just not correct, and it's giving us errors when we try to enter it in. I'll try it one more time. Oops. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. What they're essentially doing is type the phone command get VPN connection. So when you launch the application of remote desktop by typing in MST, so like if I were to type in MST mstsc.exe, remote desktop should show up there, and then minimize remote desktop, and then do get.vpn connection, and then it would give us this. Yeah, I'll just take a screenshot right here. It's good enough. This is incorrect. What they gave you right here, this path for the application ID. I tried figuring out the path myself, but it still doesn't take it. Let's see if I can, if I go to details. Yeah, folder path right here. If you do like Control C. Program data. Unless I move it, I could also move it. Let me try one last thing. But if not, just take the screenshot. So let's move this into local disk, Windows. So find it all the way at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to move this all the way up. And I believe they wanted us to place it in System 32, so that's where I'm going to place it. System 32, perfect. And then down here I have to move it all the way up as well. So all the way on the bottom. Where's my remote desktop? Okay, here it is. So let's actually, there's an easier way of doing this. Go to File Explorer. So I have two File Explorers open. This one, go directly to where they want us to go. So local disk, system Windows, system 32, and then here, actually it already exists in system 32. Okay, it might be fine then. So let's paste. Okay, yeah, it's not working. It's fine. Don't worry about these last steps. So task 3, don't worry about the add an auto trigger app to VPN. Yeah, just take a screenshot of the get VPN connection command, and that should be good for that. And then for this, I believe it was tunneling that we did. Yep. Create this one. So this is actually what we just wrote. So it's this. Because that was the last command that we were working with. So step 6 applies to VPN server that uses point to point. I want to say it's AES. Oh, okay, PPPT. No, MPPE. Okay. Enable point to point. You see the screenshot. These two you guys can answer on your own, but the rest you guys could already see. So yeah, just answer these questions. These are relatively about what we just did on the lab. But like I said, don't worry about the last, I think it was step 3. Just take the screenshot of, what was it? What was the command? Get VPN connection, and give me this, and that should be fine with that. Answer the rest of these questions. I already helped you guys with 1 or 2. And then once you guys do that, press submit report, and that's it. So this one was a bit of a longer lab. There was quite a few pages on it. Everything was good except for that ending part where we were launching the application. But I think you guys get the point of setting up a VPN connection for a secure connection for someone who might be off-site or for someone who might be at a different building who needs to connect to the main building. So that's kind of the point of this lab. And yeah, that's it for this week. So for next week, don't forget to read the chapter reading, because the chapter reading, like I said, will help you on test 3, which will be later on down the road. And it also just gives you background on the commands that we're entering in during the lab, and also like the logic behind setting up a VPN connection. So make sure you guys are doing that reading. And that's it. So I'll see you guys next week.